my presentation, the title already presents, I will talk a little bit about quality assurance in software development lifecycle, processes, methods, and also who is the person behind the quality assurance. So what is quality? It's my first question. So quality refers to the conformance to implicit or explicit requirements, expectations, and standards. Plus, quality can also have various definitions, as can be subjective and relative. So how can we guarantee that the software has quality? Anyone want to guess? Yes, by testing. And these are 6 of the benefits of testing software. I know that there are much more. It will depend on the company. It will depend on the objectives of each one. I found this image pretty good for this purpose. And sorry. And when we test the software, there are things that we need to guarantee, that we validate, that we need to assure. Like, for example, it is safe, it is robust, has security, it is usable, it is efficient, and so many others, as you can see in here. So everything needs to be tested. It depends on the objectives of each software developed. So the QA process ensures that the wider goal and vision of the business is achieved by delivering software that meets all the quality requirements from both technology and business perspectives. I know this is quite long, but this is really important. We have the technology and business perspective, so we have 2 sides to give value to. Okay, so now that we understood what is quality and why it's the benefit of having quality assurance, you might have asked, okay, but when should we test? So let's talk about more practical thing. My answer to the question when should we test, it will depend on the software development lifecycle being used. In here, in this image, are the 4 best known software development lifecycle. And as you can see, test is part of each one. So on this side, you have the recent or most known DevOps, agile testing, agile methodology. You have waterfall and the V model. And this means that we have developers and QAs working together on the same objective. So deliver a software that corresponds to the customer, to the business requirements with the highest quality possible. And this image, this image represents one of the most common belief propagated by someone, I don't know who, that it's the mindset of the programmer and the tester. So how can I make it and how can I break it? This could not be wrong. This is a silly idea and this is not supposed to be like that. And for many years there were internal wars because of this kind of, okay, I will make it and I will break it. It's not like that. We need to work together. So as I highlighted in here, although we have different paths, we have the same goal. We want to achieve the same thing, provide the best software, the best quality to our stakeholders. And why developers don't do tests? This is also a really common question because they say, okay, they code, they can test. Why do we need QAs? And the fact is that we we need QAs, and we need QAs, and developers shouldn't test the software, and I will explain on the next slide. But I want to make a reference in here that I'm talking today about quality, but unfortunately this is a reality that it's not spread yet through all the companies. Not everyone believes on the power of the quality assurance and having teams working in quality assurance, and there are still people who thinks that the testers and the QA team, it's the last people in the row. So it's not true. The QAs and the testers can be a huge great achievement to all the process of delivering a good software. So why do developers shouldn't test software? First, they are not impartial, so the code is like their child. And secondly, they developed the code, so they put everything to work perfectly as it was required. But they developed the functionality, that code. They don't know what the other developers are doing, and the tester is the person who comes and say, okay, let's test this as a whole. So the tester is the person that is creative enough to try to break everything. So not break on the worst way, so saying, okay, you did this wrong or that wrong, not that way, but to help the developer to be better on the thing that he has developed. And the third thing that why the developers shouldn't test the software, it's because there are testing levels as it's presented in here. So it's like they do test. They have to run the unit tests on their code. So they have to guarantee that what they deliver to us, QAs, testers, has the minimum quality. There is also the API path that usually we ask when they deliver, do you run the API path? It is okay. Okay, so now we can test. But they only look into their own bubble. So to test all software, we have the integration testing and the system testing that it's done by QAs and the tester. And we can also have the end users testing the same software on the testing this phase. So that's why the developers don't test software, that they test their code. So let me breathe. I hope that everything is clear so far, and no one is asleep yet. No. I know it's after lunch, and sometimes it's hard. I know. I hope everyone has taken the coffee. So let's talk about the process. Let's proceed and talk about the testing process itself. But before I proceed, I would like to put reference into this image and in this sentence. So the absence of proof, it's not the proof of absence. This is really important when testing. It's not that it's not catched. That means that the problem isn't there. Okay. So I know it's quite silly, but it's really important. So how can we organize a software testing process? PDCA model. I don't know if anyone had heard about this before. So usually testers work in DES mode. And does anyone have ever seen this? The plan, do, check, and act. And how can we transform this into a testing process? So first, we need to have the quality assurance management activities well-defined. Do you know which one they are? Quality assurance, quality control, and testing. Yes, quality assurance, it's composed by different things. And as you can see in the table in here, each one has its own purpose and focus, and they have a what, a who, and the when. So are different moments for the quality. I don't know if you know about this. Also, we need to develop a software testing life cycle. So I talked about software development lifecycle, but we also have the software testing lifecycle that works along with the software testing the software development lifecycle. But in here, we developed everything that will be tested, in which moment, what kind of tests we will run, who will run what, and all the flow. And by testing, we also, to have the process of testing, we also need tests. And in here, I picked this image from the internet, this hierarchy. I know there are a lot. If you search types of software testing hierarchy, there are different ones, there are different names, and so on. But I thought, in my opinion, that this one, it's pretty good. So we have different types, different objectives, as you can see. So we can have static testing. Yes, we also can test the documentation that is developed. And we have the dynamic test that is when we put the hands on. So functional testing, non-functional testing, and we can go with that flow and see different tests. Just a note, for the ones that don't know, why white box testing and black box testing? White box testing, it's done by persons who knows the code. It can be a developer, but it can be a tester, but has access to the code. The black box testing is the one that we add. So we add the inputs, the expected outputs, and we don't know nothing what happens inside. So the most popular software testing types. Functional, performance, use cases, exploratory, usability, security. So most all the softwares need to have these basics. As you can see, objectives, methods, levels, and you can also have can check also some examples. Sorry, the quality of image, it's not pretty good, but I can say, for example, the security, a test that we can do, it tests the software application ability to prevent unauthorized access, or the usability, check that the user interface of software application is intuitive, user-friendly, and easy to navigate. These are the kind of tests that are done. And I could not talk about quality without talking about automation, that it's now the big trend. Everywhere you look, you heard about automation, automation, automation. It's like the last Coke in the desert, sorry, desert. Okay, so companies want everything or almost everything automated. And many people believes that the automation will replace the testers. Now it's also even the discussion if the ChatGPT will replace the testers. If you search my LinkedIn, I reposted an article about that. But in my opinion, it couldn't be wrong. Although automation can help to be faster and quicker and can test the same things, the best approach, as I put it in here, the best approach is to have the combination of the two. So it's the best way to have the best results. And why? Automation don't kill bugs. People do. Automation, it's created to work exactly the same all the time. So the QA is the person has the creativity. He can have the smelly thing. Okay, maybe let's go that way that automation don't have. And for the ones that say, let's automate, 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 please put them this question. It is worth the cost that will take to develop this kind of test automation. There will be time saved, or we will spend more time automating than doing this manually. And also, are these tests run frequently enough to be automated? It makes sense. We don't know. So as you can see, QA testing isn't just a phase. It's a process, and it can be complex sometimes. And why complex, you might ask? It's just planning and then executing. Yep, in the real world, it should be like that, but in the good world, in the I had a blank. In the perfect world, thank you. It should be like that, but in the real world, it's not because sometimes there are wrong estimation, budget, and time, and sometimes due to the lack of communication, we have last-minute requirements changed. Yeah, we have to face all these things. And it's also important to remind the 7 principles of the software testing quality defined by the ISTQB. And if you see the last bullet point, absence of error fallacy, that it's related with the previous PowerPoint. So I couldn't go without pointing which is the best, the most important test tool and why. Who in here doesn't have already been through this kind of situation, this kind of arguing? Yeah, so developers say, it works in my computer, and I say, okay, but I will not deliver your computer to the end user. You have to put it in it to work. And I do believe their reaction, although I do not agree, because this is how they might feel. Yeah, it's not, it's not good. And another thing that it's really, really, really important to the ones that work with quality assurance, it's that a bug, it's always a bug, no matter how small or where it comes from. And we need to raise the bug. So we should spot, we should approach, and when we approach, we should describe and document everything pretty well, and then raise it, so deliver it to the developer to solve. And just to finish, let's talk about the tester, the person behind. So the QAs, the tester, are a so wonderful species that someone has did this dissection of the best testing tools that he has built in. I want just to mention the ears and the eyes, because the QAs are known as a species that is really curious, and also the ends, because automation can do everything. So why do we have different roles in QAs, and also why do we say testers and QA engineers? At the end, we do the same thing, we do tests. But the tester is the person that just to execute tests, although the QA engineer is someone that has more knowledge, so it might participate in different steps of the testing process. And we can have all these roles. And attention to the software developer engineering test, that it's now a new position too, that it's a developer who has some knowledge about QA and develop only test automation. So what does a good QA? Many things. This list can be bigger, but for example, it's a person that's not afraid to ask questions, is a problem solver, it's not a problem creator, document everything, always test for usability, and so on and so on. And we also need to have some soft skills as communication, really important, because we talk with a lot of people and a lot of teams. Empathy, focus on results, flexibility, creativity, be a good listener. We have to have critical and analytical thinking, so you can name it. And this is how we feel sometimes, like an handyman. We need to do everything. Yeah. So as you can see, the QAs and the tester can give a big contribution to the overall process if we are led to be involved in the process since the beginning, since the review of the requirements and the brainstormings, and work closely with the developers and also validate the things before they are released to the end users. And now, my last question. Who is responsible for the quality in product and software development? I know the first answer, it's the QA and engineer, but do you think that it's someone else that is responsible for this? Yeah? Who do you think? I see someone nodding, more or less. Yeah. So everyone that is related and it's involved in the process of developing a software it's responsible for the quality. Since the sales team, the IT team, security, team leaders, the end users and customers with their feedbacks, the project managers, the business analysts, everyone, it's important and it's responsible for the quality, although the testers are the ones that do the tests. And to finish my presentation, now, yes, I want to leave you with this sentence that I believe that it's true and really important, that quality, it's never an accident. It is always the result of intelligent effort. From John Ruskin. Thank you. These are my contacts.